somebody other than the elected officials are running the show. And that seems to, well, that's one of my major concerns. But they're all tremendous concerns. I don't know how many of you have heard of Lewis Lapham's, the editor of Harper's Magazine's theory that the United States has two governments, the permanent and the provisional. The permanent government consists of the Fortune 500, the big legal firms in Washington that do their legal work, and the big public relations firms in Washington that do their public relations, and the top civil servants, both civil and military. And they run the United States. And every once in a while, here I paraphrase a little bit, they have a charade called an election. And the permanent government picks the actors to go on the stage. And once they pick them, they finance them and nobody else need apply. Because getting elected is so expensive that you need a tremendous amount of money, and they put up the money to get their men elected. And they try to pick actors that won't improvise too much. They will read the scripts the way they're written. And then they don't always tell them everything. Something I'm finding out as I'm digging deeper and deeper into this is that there are at least two presidents of the United States who are not fully briefed on the subject we're talking about tonight. And you might say, you've got to be kidding. But I'm not kidding. This is so tightly held that even chiefs of intelligence and presidents of the United States have not been fully apprised as to what's going on and why. So there's the issue of governance, of whether it's democracy, plutocracy, who's running the United States, who's running the world. Well, often, and I know this from experience, it's not the people you elect and hold accountable. It's a lot of people who are unelected and not held accountable. And then the second major issue is the question of saving the planet literally. We've been talking about the Kyoto Agreement. Our government has shown a lack of enthusiasm for it. We can see the polar ice caps melting. There's evidence all around us that we're in danger if we don't do something. And it's just a question of time. It isn't a question of if, it's only a question of when. And what we have to answer is, do we care? We will probably live out our natural lives. Why aren't they revealing it and working on saving the planet now? Well, the answer, I think you probably know, is because there are a lot of people with trillions of dollars invested in oil fields that don't really want this information out for quite a long while until the oil fields are depleted and they've got their money out 3 or 4 times over. Now that's maybe speculation, but you don't have to be a wizard to know what would happen if the information came out and we had to adapt. We could adapt, but it would cause a very great disruption. And a lot of people would lose a lot of money. And I know a lot of people that don't like losing a lot of money, especially if they've got a lot of power and can avoid it. So this is, I think, the second major issue. Well, and the third one, which I think is equally important, is that as Minister of National Defense, I sort of understand to a certain extent the military mind. Most of them are wonderful people, and I say that without any reservation. And Canadian soldiers, sailors, and airmen are as good as there are in the world, and we can be very proud of them. And they do a fantastic job, even though we don't support them properly, with the personnel and the equipment that they deserve. But there are some people in this clique which involves some military people, but not all. Because as Dr. Greer will tell you later, and I hope you'll ask him this question, he has talked to senior people in the United States military that haven't a clue what's going on. Even though you would say, you're kidding. And he will say, no, I'm not kidding. people who should have known what was going on, not told, and told they had no right to know. Why? I think because, as General Eisenhower probably saw ahead, there are people who have a vested interest in the arms industry and want to keep building and building, and if they don't have an enemy, they create another one. So first you have the Cold War, and then you have a phony war against terrorism, and then when that runs out, you're going to be faced with this extraterrestrial threat, and we, the people of the world, are going to have to get together and squander all of our money to build defenses to try and protect ourselves against the ETs. Even though they've probably been here for 2,000 years and haven't done us any great harm in all that time. Well, this is tremendously important. And, you know, in Colonel Corso's book, he talks about Star Wars years ago. What was the purpose? Primarily to prepare a defense against the ETs. And what is a lot of the reverse engineering and new engineering of some of these sophisticated weapon systems being about? To prepare weapons to shoot them down. And if we start shooting them down, when they're probably still decades or centuries ahead of us in technology, are they going to like it? And if they don't like it, what are they going to do about it? And I don't want to know the answer to that question. Because I don't want us to take them on for size. I want, as a lot of members of the Extra Politics Institute want, is to try and make contact and say, what can we learn from you that will help us save our planet, save our civilization, reduce some of the disparity between the wealthiest people of the world and the poorest, and give us a more abundant life for everyone here. Because that is possible. So we're not talking about small states here. We're not talking, you know, about some politician that was caught spending the weekend with a blonde that wasn't his wife, or some major story that would get all the newspapers and get 2 or 3 pages and follow-up stories. Some people think those are the important stories. I haven't been involved in one so far. Escape. They're maybe interesting, you know, a little titillation, that kind of thing. But in the long run, they don't matter who. But who's running the world matters. Whether we save the world or not matters. And whether we get into an intergalactic war matters, because all of us are inevitably going to be affected directly or indirectly in some way that we would really not want to see. So that's basically the reason I'm here. Dr. Greer is the expert. I'll leave the technical questions to him because I've never talked to anyone who's known as much about all of these things as he does. He blew my mind for 2.5 hours today. And I know that he won't talk about all the things because he won't have time. But I think he will answer your questions about anything you want to know about the U.S. military, who knows, what they know, why the right people don't know, and why we're not getting the information that we deserve to have. So I just hope you'll give him a very warm reception, and I just say thank God for Dr. Greer and people like him, but especially Dr. Greer for his disclosure project. If you get one of his DVDs and watch it through about twice, you'll want to go out and march on Parliament Hill and say, look, start an inquiry, find out what this is all about. Lots of witnesses that he could bring up that would talk openly about the problems, and get it all out in the open before it's too late, because that's what we really want. That's what it's all about. Thank you.